So here's how Shohei Ohtani did in his first pitching appearance with the Dodgers, first since 2023 when he was still with the Angels, and only one inning versus the Padres, 2 hits, 1 earned run, 0 walks, and 0 Ks on 28 pitches. So clearly he's going to need to ramp it up, but this is his first perhaps many pitching outings. Time now to welcome in CBS Sports MLB analyst and former Marlins executive David Samson. And David, this is the first time we watch Ohtani pitch in 2 years. I know it was very short, but what were your impressions of him?
Well, first of all, think about this. You hadn't seen him pitch in a Dodgers uniform before. So this is what the Dodgers had in mind when they signed him to that large deal. They thought that you can win MVPs and maybe win Cy Youngs. And you forget that coming back from a second Tommy John, but they're not going to call it that, not easy. So just seeing him able to actually face major league pitching, that's an accomplishment. But you also see what happens when you don't do any rehab assignments. You can't simulate actual game action. And of course he's going to be rusty. Totally normal.
Yeah, so he goes 1 inning, very well stated points right there, David. How do you envision the Dodgers handling him in future outings? Are we expecting him to continue to be an opener, or eventually, I'm sure this is the case, they want him to be, a starter and go like 6 or 7 innings?
Yeah, you got to build up his pitch count. He did a simulated game of 3 innings, which doesn't count. When you go down to rehab, let's say you go to AA or AAA or single A, you have to do 2 or 3 rehab starts at a minimum. It's like spring training. You have to picture that Shohei Ohtani right now is in spring training, and it builds up. As a starter, you start with 2 innings, but the inning they had today, when you're at 28 pitches and struggling to get through an inning, there's no chance they're bringing him back for a second. But they would have liked him to have gone a second inning. If you have an easy 1, 2, 3, 10 pitches, 11 pitches, bring him back. But with 28, you sit him. Now you got to hope he wakes up tomorrow fine. 5 days from now, again, let him pitch hopefully 2 innings. 5 days after that. So it's going to be a bit of a slog right now, but he's on the road to pitching meaningful innings.
You know, one of the things that you brought up there, it sparked a question, right, where I say, hey, Dave Roberts has a big dilemma on his hands, or a big challenge, I should say, because of the value that Shohei Ohtani brings as a pitcher, but also as a batter. So how challenging is it for him to manage this particular deal when you're dealing with somebody like Shohei, who is box office and brings you so much productivity?
Well, I would say 2 things. It's important for everyone to remember that he's not taking up a spot on the pitching staff. So it is totally unreasonable for anybody to be in the big leagues at this point in the rehab. But guess what? Because he's got a 2-way designation, they can still have a full complement of pitchers, so they can afford to carry him. The reality is that they want him hitting. They don't want to waste him going down to rehab and then not having his bat in the lineup. So this is the way you keep his bat in the lineup. You try to build up the arm, and you hope that it's additive at some point. He gave up a run, but at the end of the day, tomorrow is what I, as a front office member and president of a team, I'm looking at my phone saying, please, trainer, don't call me, because we want Ohtani to come in without any setbacks.
Right, the recovery is the most important when you consider, just how long it's been since he's last pitched. Now, when you look at the rotation, right, for the pitchers in the Dodgers organization, what could Ohtani mean for this rotation in terms of giving them more depth?
Well, boy, they have depth if you think about it. I think they're leading Major League Baseball. This could have been their 15th starting pitcher of the season already, which is somewhat staggering. And what you hope is you find health somewhere. Sasaki had a setback. God knows when he'll be back. Glasnow and Snell, you're trying to get him back. Dustin May's been mediocre with occasional doses of he shouldn't even be here. So you want Ohtani taking the ball every 5 days, and you want him getting you 6 or 7 innings. But they're just not even close to that. But the hope is, as they get toward October, that he is the ace of that pitching staff, which is what he could be. But it's really hard coming back from a second Tommy John and being effective consistently.
Absolutely. So a slow and steady approach is the one that's probably going to win in this situation. David Samson, always appreciate your insight, man. So again, Shohei David pointed out, of course, he's going to be rusty. First time pitching as a Dodger. Just 1 inning, 2 hits, 1 earned run, no strikeouts on 28 pitches. And now it's about how he's going to recover from his first start as a pitcher with the Dodgers.